Hi, I want to just tell you about some of my favorite books. Jane Eyre was my first favorite book, but I have a lot of other ones now. Frankenstein, fabulous. Um, Octavia Butler, one of my favorite authors. Parable of the Sower. This book is about the collapse of society and the remaking of the world. Um, and there's a lot of beautiful passages in here. Um, she says. Things are changing now, too. Our adults haven't been wiped out by a plague, so they're still anchored in the past, waiting for the good old days to come back. But things have changed a lot, and they'll change more. Things are always changing. This is just one of the big jumps instead of the little step by step changes that are easier to take. People have changed the climate of the world. Now they're waiting for the old days to come back. Sound familiar? Right now, we're living through a time of change, and there's a sense of, do we want to go back to the way things were, or is this an opportunity to change things in a bigger way? And this book was written in the 90s, but these themes are relevant, they're timeless. Um, the last book I wanted to talk about was Sophie's Choice, which um, for me was one of the saddest, most intense books I've ever read. This is about uh, someone's experience through the Holocaust. And it's told through the eyes of a young man who actually meets Sophie, kind of falls in love with her, even though they don't ever have a romance. So you kind of love her too because you see her through his eyes and you hear her story as she tells it to him. And it's so devastating to hear what's happened to her in the war that I went into kind of a depression for a few weeks after I finished it. That's how powerful it was. Um, so I don't always have time to read, but when I do, I appreciate it, and so I hope that we can all make more time for these books.